afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Jolene Kester, and I have the privilege of being president of California State University Northridge. Welcome. We at Cal State Northridge are thrilled to be hosting this exciting and historic event on our campus. What an amazing story this morning in the New York Times. California, leading the nation in service and volunteerism. And this university is one of the leaders in service to the community in the entire state of California. We are thrilled to be part of this event. It is my pleasure to introduce a true volunteer hero, Latifah Simon. Welcome her.
There's a lot of power in this place. But before I actually talk about that power, the folks on the stage, you can see us, but we need to see you. I need you to give me about 4 minutes of you on your feet. Can you get on your feet for a second? There is a real power. There is a real power. There is a real power in this room right now. Do you feel it? I feel it so deeply in my bones. Give me 1 second. Don't sit down. Don't sit down. But give me 1 second, because I actually want to speak to you from my soul. When I say that there's a power in this room, I just want to be clear what it looks like, what it feels like, and what it tastes like. My name is Latifah Simon. I'm 30 years old. When I was a teenager, I had a baby on my hip. But the only way that I made it out, because I put my body, my mind, and my soul in community. And because of that, I am whole, and my community is whole. I've created organizations, but I have not done anything in comparison to the young people in AmeriCorps, the young people from CCC, the young people from the first responders. I have not given up a career to be a first responder, okay? I have not yet caught thousands of faces of young people who for some reason decided that they didn't have purpose. You all are giving it back to them. Can I get a hello? Understand that we are here today on a historic day, because for one moment we can be here together in anointing and say, an anointment of power, to be able to say this state, our governor, and our first lady are recognizing the power of the people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Can I get a hello? So, understanding that for so long, we have heard that this state is apathetic. For too long, we have heard things that young people and old people and brown people and black people can't come together in the state of union and purpose. We say no today, right? Now, Dr. King said we can all be great. He said we can all be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college education, and you do not have to have your subject and verb agree, he said, to serve. All you need to create change and build powerful communities is a heart full of grace, generated by love. And we all exude that here. Please applaud yourselves, but I'm not done. Dr. King also said in a time of strife, in a time of degradation, he told young people and old people just like you, he said we have to run toward dignity. We have to run toward liberty. And if you can't run, walk. Y'all remember this? And if you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving. And I say to you today, if you can't run, walk. And if you can't walk, well then crawl. But by all means, in spite of the craziness that we see in this world, keep serving. Do you hear me? We can turn this community and keep standing. We can turn this community and this economy from a gray one to a green one. Do you hear me? In times of need, we have our men and women in green who will be there healing wounds and wiping away tears. In times of great strife, we have young men and young women desiring a college education at schools, in gyms, working with young people so that they can live. You all are not saving lives. You're giving the power of hope to life and community. For all of you here today, when the times get crazy and when your soul gets tired, remember that we all say, we may be weary, but we are not weak. In our great state that we came from, that we live in, that we walk in, we may be weary on some days, but we are not weak. There is no mountain that Californians can't climb. There is no mountain that we cannot stand on. There is no tear that we can't wipe. There is no child that we cannot teach to read. There is no mother that we can empower. There is no man that we can't heal. Serve. It is more than altruism, understand. It is a calling from community. It is a calling from mama and daddy and grandmother and grandpa, from our ancestors who we stand on their shoulders. We can be great because all of us can serve. All of us can serve. And the time is now more than ever. More than ever, we need hearts and hands in this place. Am I right? I think I'm boring you guys. Am I right? So before I end, I've done so many youth rallies and organizing with young people in schools, calling for education and calling for change. And there's a chant that we used to say. We used to say, ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. So I'm going to go there with you all. So repeat after me, and I need voices loud because, again, this is a historic day. We are putting a cabinet position at the top of this country, at the top of this state. We are showing the country what can be done in terms of service. So when I say, ain't no power like the power of the people, I want you to repeat after me. Ain't no power like the power of the people. Because the power of the people don't stop. Come on, California, because the power of the people don't stop. Okay, we're going to pick up the tempo. Ain't no power like the power of the people. Because the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people. The power of the people don't stop. Thank you so much. I gave you that chant only because sometimes we need to feel better when things seem hard. But the people of California need us. I am so honored today to have the opportunity to sit by and to introduce a wonderful man. A wonderful man. And he's actually serving in the White House, making things better for folks like us on the ground. I want to introduce Henry Lozano, and he is the highest ranking, what in my community some folks call OGs, in volunteering and service. And he is, like I said, he's the highest ranking official in volunteer service, and his title is the Director of California Freedom Corps. And when I hear freedom and when I smell freedom, I have hopes of greater things. So it's my honor to introduce this amazing, amazing man. Thank y'all.
I don't know that there's anything else I need to say. Miss Simon, I've had the privilege across this great land to recognize those folks that have volunteered across this great country and in this great state. And I know that that privilege has been given to me by the President of the United States of America. But what I want you to know today is that this young lady would first recognize you before she'd want to be recognized. And that's the power of service and volunteerism. That's what's happening here today. As the director of the USA Freedom Corps in Washington, D.C., I have the privilege of honoring young representatives and senior representatives of every caliber across this nation for their service to our country. And it's always a privilege every day to join them. The one thing I know is that there's something happening here in California that is not an old passé movement, but this great state that I've lived in all my life and plan to return to when my tour of duty is over, is the beginning of a national revolution through this announcement today. Today's announcement and the exemplary leadership of Governor Schwarzenegger, First Lady Maria Shriver, in announcing the first cabinet-level post for advancing volunteering, is an example that we know other states will follow across the nation. There is real leadership happening here in California. Hear this. Real leadership at your state capital. Real leadership. Imagine that a governor and the First Lady are stationing themselves to bring into existence a cabinet post that will recognize every one of you out in the audience and every other great volunteer in the state of California. Imagine that they have the courage and the belief and the recognition that this isn't a good thing to do that we call service. This isn't a good thing to do that we call volunteering. This is the thing to do in this state. I have the privilege of being a California boy, and let me tell you, we recognize this in D.C. This is a breath of fresh air across this nation, specifically in my backyard. This is a proud moment for all of us, and I'm proud to be here. But we also understand there's room for leadership from the corporate sector. The USA Freedom Corps recently convened a pro bono summit on the future of corporate volunteering to highlight the untapped resources of skilled volunteers from our nation's businesses and bring those skilled volunteers and those resources to local communities. The corporate sector falls short, below the national average of time and talent donated to volunteer service. Yet a growing number of companies have begun to support employee volunteering by shifting to a pro bono approach, where employees apply the professional skills they use every day in the workplace to help nonprofits meet community needs, local community needs. We think this is an exciting trend, and we look forward to partnering with you, our corporate partners, to advance volunteering in a new way and to continue answering the President's call to service. I know that one of our good corporate citizens is here today with us. I had the privilege of talking to him today. Disney partners with the USA Freedom Corps as a leadership organization for the President's Volunteer Service Award and does so much to encourage their employees here in the state of California and across the world to give back to their communities where they live and where they work. Thank you for being our partner, for your commitment to employee volunteering, and for your support in today's event. Thank you, Governor. Yes. Thank you, Governor and First Lady, for the example that you have set here today. The USA Freedom Corps and myself personally are proud to be here today, proud to be part of this announcement, proud to be part of this committed audience. And finally, I'd like to thank Karen Baker for her years of steadfast leadership in this great state. When Karen's call came to me and she said, could you join us? You need to understand. She understands well, and her office does, what it takes to get somebody from the White House out ASAP. And I said, I'm there. It doesn't matter how I get there. I'm there with you, by your side, for today. That's right. Karen, you personified the AmeriCorps pledge. You get things done. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here today. I look forward to take this champion back to the President of the United States and report on this convening. But more importantly, I will be across this great nation all year long in states and communities and local areas. And I'm going to brag about my home state. I'm going to brag about my governor and this First Lady. I'm going to brag about our cabinet office. I'm going to brag about the leadership that has commenced here today at Northridge. I now have a distinct privilege to recognize a gentleman who's been a world in my life, whether he realizes that or not. The years that I've known Harris and his mentoring, his kind words, his aspirations that he's given me, his dreams have been profound to me. The Honorable Harris Wofford is a recognized and giant in the field of service today. He was there when Sergeant Shriver and President Kennedy started the Peace Corps. He was there on the U.S. Senate floors fighting for service when nobody else was. He was there at the birth of the AmeriCorps, heading up the Corporation for National Community Service. The fact is that he's here today speaks volumes of the magnitude of this event. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in welcoming Senator Harris Wofford.
Thank you. Thank you. That's my rusty World War II Army Air Corps salute to all of you. And thank you, Henry Lozano. And salute to the President's USA Freedom Corps, which you are leading so well. Now, I'm just lucky to be here at 81. So you will hear a few words from an elder of the tribe of this whole human race all over the great globe itself. Since John Kennedy called on all of us to ask what we can do for our country, and then he asked Sergeant Shriver to organize the Peace Corps, there's been a growing cadre, I should say, of battalions of us who are veterans of service, of national service, whether of the civilian or the military kind, who have been hoping and working to make voluntary citizen service the common expectation and the common experience of all Americans. And that hope is alive and well in this call today, and it's represented by all of you here, by all of you there, by 500,000 others Americans who have served in AmeriCorps, and nearly 200,000 who've served in the Peace Corps, and millions who have served in the other service programs that are part of our cause. We are lucky that you understand the two great words that are the key to what America is all about: to ask and all. All men are created equal. And if you doubt the power of the battalions I'm talking about, just think of the power of the one AmeriCorps veteran, Latifah Simon. Think of that. And now, in 1991 in Pennsylvania, when I had the chance to run for election to the United States Senate, my campaign coach, James Carville, how many of you know or have seen him on television? Right. Well, he came to national attention through our upset victory over the Attorney General of the United States, going from 47 points behind to 10 points ahead, believe it or not. And then I've also suffered a defeat with the same manager, James Carville, who helped me win, and I won't say he helped me lose. But here he gave a challenge. I want to pass this challenge on to you. It's been a challenge in my head and heart ever since he said it. My wife and I thought we should really make national service a central part of our political campaign. And we trusted James Carville, and he persuaded us not to do it. And he did it with his emphatic way in which he said, national service and volunteering is nice. People think it's good and nice, but it's way out on the periphery. And no one is able to take it from the periphery into the center of American politics and public action. Now, he didn't know Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver and Latifah Simon. You in California do know Arnold and Maria, and know that they are not ones to rest content out on the periphery. They are determined to change our world for better, and we can count on them to prove James Carville wrong. I believe you can do it here on our Western Shore with colleagues such as those gathered in this hall. Now, by creating the first in the nation Secretary of Service and Volunteering, Governor, over there, I think, you are elevating service to the cabinet level and bringing it from the margins to the highest level of state government and to the center of public action in California. And if you succeed in doing it, I promise I will learn how to say California your way. With the critical mass of the largest state in the Union, you are able to do this on a scale no other state can equal. You're pointing the way for other states and for the nation to follow, and I predict that this may happen sooner than you may think on our land as a whole. For all four of the remaining presidential candidates, 2 from each party, are supporting a major increase in AmeriCorps, our nationwide domestic Peace Corps, by 100,000 or more, and 2 of the candidates, 1 in each party, have proposed increasing AmeriCorps from 75,000 national service positions to 250,000. And that would mean thousands more full-time and part-time AmeriCorps members for California, like those who are here, who are listening today and cheering today and standing up today. Let me also report that all 3 of the senators who are running for president have sent messages of support to Arnold and Maria for what they are doing here today. Governor, I remember that morning in the late 1970s when you first arrived at the Shriver family home in Hyannisport. Maria and her brothers had flown you up for the weekend, and Sergeant Shriver asked me to entertain you for an hour. So while walking on the beach, you told me some of your life story, and I began to see how far your will had taken you already and could take you when you focus on an important goal. So I believe you and Maria will reach this great goal that you're setting today and achieve a quantum leap in national and citizen and voluntary service. In doing so, then, you will stake rightly the claim for the Schwarzenegger Shriver family to be known as the first family of service. Maria, I've known and admired you for now almost half a century, from the years in the 1960s when I was working with your father night and day and helping him launch the Peace Corps, and then plan the war on poverty, including Head Start, the Job Corps, and the first domestic Peace Corps, VISTA, the Volunteers in Service to America. Any of you serve in VISTA? It's a key part of AmeriCorps now, which your father hoped would go to hundreds of thousands of full-time ground troops for the campaign to end poverty. And that dream, I think, can yet be realized. As the wonderful new PBS documentary on your father's life, An American Idealist, was shown on Martin Luther King Day holiday and will be shown again, I'm sure, many times. Sergeant Shriver was the greatest social inventor for service in the 20th century. And your mother, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, the founder and builder of Special Olympics, has been another of the great pioneers of service in this country. I know how proud they are of your leadership now, carrying the torch of service so well in this century, 21st century. So I'm not surprised that with your creativity, passion, and entrepreneurial spirit, you are transforming the role of First Lady. Now, I admit I didn't expect that the little girl I first knew would become an award-winning broadcast journalist or the best-selling author of 6 books. The latest, Just Who Will You Be?, will come to the bookstores this April. And as a lover of our Constitution, with its other great words, the opening words, we the people, I like your new watchword, we. It's all about we, what we can do together to solve our most critical public problems. Join me and rise to welcome Maria Shriver out in front in America's first family of service.
Thank you. Sit down. Thank you. Gosh, I don't remember a time in my life when I didn't know Harris Wofford. He spent as much time in my house as I did. And so to have him here today means so much to me on a personal level. My parents love him, admire him, and he is a part of our family in every sense of the word. And he has also been, as Henry mentioned earlier, a real leader and pioneer in the service volunteering field, and he is respected throughout this country and throughout this world. So from a personal place, I want to thank you for making the time to be here. On behalf of everybody in California who understands the call that comes from deep within to be of service, I thank you for lending your expertise and your weight to this event. So thank you for being here. Henry, thank you for being here, coming all the way from Washington. Thank you for welcoming us here at Northridge. Latifah, what about that woman? Okay? Oh, my God. This woman, she talked about standing on people's shoulders. She's a legend in California. And she only kind of teased her story, but her story is remarkable. Her service is remarkable. And what she came out here today to say touched, I think, every single person here. And she talked about the power of all of us. And that's what I'm so excited about, because today is a moment for all of us. It's about what each and every one of us can do to help our communities, to help our families, to help our state, and to help our country. I often talk about it as the power of we. My parents talked about it as the politics of service. My dad, who Harris mentioned, talked a lot about the politics of service. And it's the kind of politics that you can practice no matter what your political affiliation is, no matter what your age is, no matter what your gender is, no matter what your religion is. The politics of service is about allowing your soul to be fueled by service. It's about allowing yourself to be a transforming agent. And it's about really what Gandhi said, because both my parents believed that we, the people, could be and should be the change that we want to see in this world. And I think that that in and itself is a very powerful notion, that you, each and every person here, can be the change that you want to see in the world. You don't have to have a political figure do it for you. You don't have to have your boss do it for you. Your parents don't have to do it for you. You yourself can be the change that you want to see. All you have to do is go out and serve. And I think if you think about that and think about the power that's in we the people, it really is a very, we talked about it, it's the we the people. It's a very powerful concept. We the people can be the change we want to see in this world. Everybody who's wearing a colored outfit today believes in that concept. Everybody up here who's changing their life and being of service believes in that. And there are millions and millions of people throughout our state and obviously throughout our country who believe so strongly in that. My parents taught my brothers and I every single day. They talked about, what are you doing to help somebody else? They took us all over the world and talked about that we were responsible for changing the world. They taught us that there was no act that was too small, that there was no person who was too old or too young. We didn't have a friend who came over to our house who did not end up practicing the politics of service, even if they didn't want to do it or not. And many people didn't want to come over. Many of my friends actually ended up saying, I don't want to come to your house today because I haven't done anything and I don't have any plans to do anything. And even today, my children say to me, my friends don't want to come over here because you make them go out and serve and they want to sleep in. And so nobody wants to spend the night over here. And I said, blame my parents. But I am so proud of this moment. I'm so proud of the people who are on this stage. There are so many people here who have incredible stories about changing their own lives, starting organizations to empower women, being mentors, being big brothers, being big sisters, serving in the military, going outside of their own comfort zone. And they think they go out to do it to change their community, but in fact it changes them from the inside out. And that is really the greatest benefit. So there is so much that we can do together. CaliforniaVolunteers.org has 30,000 volunteer opportunities on the website today, just waiting for you to log on and find somewhere you can serve. If you know an organization that's not on the website, let us know about it. We want every organization that needs a volunteer in this state to be on that website and to get somebody who can help them follow through on their message. And I think it's really important to understand, as I said, that there's nothing that's too small, nothing that's not important. If you want to build a garden, we'll help you do it. If you want to clean a beach, we'll direct you to an organization that can help you do that. If you want to volunteer to be a CERT volunteer and help us be better prepared as a state and perhaps change someone's life, we can use you. We can use you to change our state. If you want to mentor a child, we'll direct you to how to do that. If you want to bring food to someone who's a shut-in, who's older, who's lonely, who might have AIDS or Alzheimer's, we can direct you to an organization, and you can forever change someone's day, someone's life, someone's future. Remember, there is no act that is too small, no gesture of kindness that doesn't have a ripple effect. So as we all go about our very busy lives, I think it's important to remember that we are the people and we are the change. And when my husband was elected governor in 2003, in his inaugural, he said, I cannot do this alone. The burden is too great. The problems are too massive. But with your help, I can do this. If we come together, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Green, men, women, all different nationalities, everything that California has to offer, because our greatest natural resource is us. If we all come together to help each other lift the burdens that we all encounter day in, day out. We can make this state as great as our imaginations believe it can be. We can let every person in this state know that there's someone who believes in them, someone who thinks that they have a future worth fighting for. And in the end of the day, it won't be our jobs that define us. It will be those small gestures, those small acts of compassion that people remember us for. So this is a great day, I think, for everybody who's here. This is a great day for this university to be a part of, I think, a historic event. This is a great day for California. This is a great day for this governor who believes in the power of service and who believes that each and every one of us can serve. But most importantly, I think it will be a great day, and it will make days great in each of our lives if we, in fact, come together and be the change, be as great as we think we can be, and if we serve together. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the person who had the idea of making service and volunteering a cabinet-level position, because that's the only way to get the people to the cabinet-level position, is if you elevate service and volunteering and make it a force to be reckoned with. He's a great public servant, and he is your governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Maria, for the wonderful introduction. Sit down, please. It's wonderful to get such a great introduction from the First Lady. I love it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thank you very much, Senator Wofford, for coming out here today. I really appreciate that. And, of course, he was right that we took a walk on the beach in 1977. Think about that, more than 30 years ago, almost 31 years ago. And we did talk about our futures, and I was talking about, my plans, and I asked him what his plans were. He said he wants to become senator one day. And I say, you will. I say, because you're very hungry and you believe in public service. And he did become a senator, and a great, outstanding senator. So it was really great to do. And he asked me what I want to become. I said, I want to be a movie star. Anyway, this was the good old days. But anyway, it's great to have him here, and also it's great to have Henry Lozano here with us today. Thank you very much for coming out. There's a man that has dedicated his life to public service and great leadership. It's great to have him. And then Latifah Simon. What a speech. I mean, this was really outstanding. I got so motivated. I got goosebumps back there when I listened to you. Wasn't that a fantastic speech? I mean, so motivating. It's just really great. And then we want to thank also President Costa, or in German it's actually Köster, right? The right pronunciation. Köster from Cal State Northridge for having us here today and hosting this event. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. And then, of course, we have the Karen Baker here today also with us, who is doing such an outstanding job managing all of this. And then Jeff Hoffman from Disney. We want to thank Jeff Hoffman for the great job that you're doing. Thank you very much for making the resources available to stage all of this and to organize all of this. Disney has been a great, great partner in a lot of different events, and especially, you guys believe a lot in volunteerism. So thank you very much for that. Now, let me just tell you, I'm very excited to be here today with all your volunteers and to be here at this university at Cal State Northridge campus, which with a proud history of service and community involvement for many, many years. So we want to say thank you to Cal State Northridge for the wonderful work that you're doing in volunteerism and promoting that. A big hand to the university for that. Now I have to tell you that I would not be here if it wouldn't be for Maria. I have to be very honest, very honest. Not only did she suggest that we create this cabinet position, and you never say no to your wife, okay? So if you want to have peace at home, I mean, just give you advice, all the fellows here that are about to get married or will get married someday in the future, just say no to everything that your wife says. But I mean, let me just tell you, there's another reason, and that is because I started dating Maria in 1977. And if it wouldn't have been for her taking me home to her house and meeting her parents, I would have never met the Shrivers. I would have never met two extraordinary, I should say actually one of the most extraordinary human beings I've ever met in my entire life, which was Sergeant Shriver and Eunice Shriver. Of course, you've heard all the things already from Senator Wofford about Sergeant Shriver, that he was a great public servant. He worked in government for many, many years, in the political arena for many, many years. But he was such an extraordinary public servant. He started so many programs, if it is the Peace Corps, if it is Job Corps, if it is legal aid to the poor, if it is the war on poverty, Head Start, Vista, and the list goes on and on and on, the kind of things that he has established. So you can imagine what it was like. Then you have Eunice there, who started Special Olympics, which is an organization for people with intellectual disabilities. And she starts this organization with nothing and then builds it up, and now there's 165 countries worldwide having this organization with millions of athletes that participate in sports competitions and that are having equal rights and that have opportunities, equal opportunities, and all kinds of great things, getting medical care, can live wherever they want, get jobs, and so on and so forth. That's what she was fighting for the last 40 years, to build this organization. So now you have these two parents there. Think about that. You have these two parents there, and then all of a sudden, you go and you hear all day long about service. And then you come in there and you think that you look studly with the muscles, right? And all of a sudden, the father says to me, Maria's father says to me, so what do you do? So I can lift 500 pounds in a bench press. So he says, now I'm not talking about for yourself, I'm talking about for other people. And I was stuck. I was stuck there. And so I recognized that this is a family about public service, and they inspired me so much so that I got involved in 1977 with Special Olympics, and I started doing public service. I became the national coach and international coach for Special Olympics, and became the torchbearer, traveling around all over the country, all over the world to promote Special Olympics. Then I became the chairman of the President's Council on Physical Fitness, and started traveling all over the country in all 50 states to promote health and fitness. And I got more and more excited about the fact of giving something back to my community, giving something back to the state and to the country. And then I started after-school programs all over the United States to make kids... to take kids off the streets and to give them a positive opportunity and alternatives, and to make them say no to drugs, no to gangs, and no to violence, and to say yes to education. To say yes to education, and yes to sports, and yes to building your life. And so I have found this just so satisfying. And I can tell you that after the years and years and years of public service like this and giving something back to the community, I said to myself, you know something, that I'd rather do this. I'd rather go to a school and help an after-school kid with their homework. I'd rather go and play chess with someone. I'd rather help a Special Olympian across the finish line than going down another red carpet to movie premiere and try to make another few $1 million. So this is when I committed to become governor of the great state of California, and I tell you, it is the most wonderful experience, to wake up every morning and to think about how can you make life better for the people of California. And let me tell you, and I can tell you, and what a great experience also it is when you governor and you travel around the state and you see so many of our great volunteers. Let me tell you something, the most extraordinary experience I've had when we had the fires this last fall. I mean, think about this. Here we had fires breaking out, not only in San Diego, but in 18 other places all over the state of California. When I went down to San Diego, I got the message that almost 10,000 volunteers registered to help when they had the fires down there. There are almost 10,000 volunteers. I mean, just think about that. When I went to Qualcomm Stadium, which was the place now where all the people that were evacuated went to, and there were thousands and thousands of people there waiting for food and for water and for baby formulas and diapers and all kinds of things. There were the volunteers. Hundreds of volunteers were in there, handing out water, helping those people with blankets and with cots and with all kinds of things. And even though these people did not know if their homes burned down or whatever it was, whatever the problem, the tragedy at home, they were content. They were happy. Why? Because there were all these hundreds of volunteers there helping. I will never forget that sight of what a wonderful sight it was to see so many volunteers coming in and helping. And the same thing happened again with the oil spill that just happened right after that. With the oil spill in the Bay Area. Who were there the first? Were the volunteers. Thousands of volunteers. We got phone calls from the Bay Area. Thousands of volunteers. And I remember Karen coming to me and saying, they called us from the Bay Area. They don't know what to do with all these thousands of people. They can't all use them. Can you imagine what a great situation that we are in here in California? They can't use all of the volunteers because there's so many showing up. That is fantastic. I was so proud of our volunteers. So this is the same kind of effort and capacity that we should have in every California county. And this is what this is all about. This is what we want to accomplish here. We never experienced anything like this before, this kind of enthusiasm to volunteer. Californians' desire and will to serve are there in abundance. All we have to do now is go and harness this great energy that is out there. We have to harness it so that the people know where to go and what to do if they want to give their time or if they want to give some of their resources. That's what we want to accomplish. And I think that Maria said it right when she said, yes, government has its job to do, but government cannot do it all. Government can give direction, which is the important thing, but the real action does come from the people. They are the ones that can create the action. They are the ones that make this state really great. So I want to ask all of you here today to help me create a California of the heart. This is the important thing here. We want to create a California of the heart with muscle that allows us to make a real difference for the people in California. I want to move civic engagement. I want to move civic engagement to the highest level of our state government, which is where it belongs. Volunteerism ought to be in the highest level of our state government. And to make that happen, this is why I'm signing here today an executive order to create a cabinet position, which will be called the Secretary of Service and Volunteering. This is what we will do. And our cabinet secretary will be none other than Karen Baker. Who is doing such a fantastic job managing California volunteers. And I want to just say thank you to her for the extraordinary work, and I also want to say thank you to my wife, who is the honorary chair of this organization, and she has also done such an extraordinary job. I just want to tell you that my wife, there's not a day where she doesn't talk about this. There's not a day where she doesn't say, since I've come into office, we got to create this cabinet position. She believes in it. She has grown up with a family that believes in public service. And Maria, let me tell you, will carry on the family tradition, because she's really 100% into this. I can always tell she's so passionate about inspiring people to get involved in those. Big hand to Maria. Now let me just say, by elevating the state's volunteer profile, we will make it easier for people to go and get involved with this whole thing. Like I said, in all 58 counties. And with our new secretary working very closely with volunteer centers, with local officials, with law enforcement, with fire department, and every way and every organization possible, I think we are going to be hugely successful in this state. And I believe very strongly of what Senator Wofford said, that we will be the model for the rest of the country. There will be other states that will follow us, and eventually I think the federal government will follow us with this. And I believe I remember what Sergeant Shriver, my father-in-law, said. He said, serve, serve, serve. For it is the servant that will save us all. Now let us create some action here, and let us sign our executive order to make this official. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Secretary Karen Baker.
How great is this governor? I just cannot say enough thank yous to a governor who understands that we want to be and need to be at the table. Am I right? He is such a bold leader. He understands us. He understands that there's over 6 million of us out there giving, caring, and serving every day. But we need millions more. Am I right? And let's just for a second talk about Miss Maria. Is she the most inspiring, visionary leader you've ever met? Woo! There it is. There it is. I've never seen a more creative leader, a true visionary. She cares so deeply about the people. It's at the top of every org chart that she has us create at the agency because it just resonates with her. She gets it. She knows that that's where the energy is. And here you have this amazing dynamo of Maria Shriver and that incredible family. And then you have this unbelievable, bold, action-oriented leader. We cannot go wrong. Am I right? This is amazing. So we're going to have a little talk. Okay? I'm no Latifah. But I do want to thank her. She's such an inspiration. It was fabulous. We need to build a volunteer force that is the largest in the country. Am I right? Woo! Then let's stand up if I'm right. Let's stand up if I'm right. Woo! And the people that I'm looking at right now, all of you, look at each other. This is history. You're at the place where this is being born. And you are now all our ambassadors. Congratulations. All right? Woo! And we need you to just not get one, not just get two, not just get three. I need at least 5 people. For everyone in here, you need to speak to your family. You need to speak to your friends. You need to speak to your neighbors. You need to speak to your coworkers. All right? It's about telling others that know of your great service, that know that you get so much when you give, that they need to come to the table. The governor's inviting them. Let's get them out. Let's turn them out. Woo! And finally, I think we got to end with a cheer, because this is a very rowdy crowd. Am I right? Woo! Governor, if there are 2 words that it all boils down to, it's we serve. Let's hear it. 1, 2, 3. We serve. I'm afraid that was just not loud enough. And I want to encourage you to go deep, okay? We got to feel your commitment, all right? 1, 2, 3. We serve. Now that's a force. One last time, the big finale. Can't get louder than this, okay? 1,